Hey everybody, welcome to Faith Unfiltered. You know, in our fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept up in the rush. You know, school, work, social media, and all those commitments that seem to just stack up on top of each other. They seem to take over our lives, don't they? But today I want to talk to you about something. I want to talk about the importance of putting the brakes on. To take a step back, to embrace rest, just like Jesus did. See, if we read the Bible and we look in the book of Ecclesiastes, which is in the Old Testament, it says, "For everything there is a season, a time for every matter under heaven." My friends, life is not meant to be a non-stop race. It's kind of like driving a car. If you never stop, if you never slow down, you're going to mess up your engine or you're going to crash. See, we also need to recognize in our own life, there's a time for work. We all have to work. There's a time to rest, though. There is a time for action also, but there's also a time to reflect. See, when we look at Psalms, God said this, so poignant. Be still and know that I am God. In the middle of our chaos, friends, God doesn't call us to go willy-nilly. He calls us to be still. Have you ever stood by the ocean? The waves are crashing relentlessly against the shores, and it makes this symphony of sound. But if you take a moment and you're still and you really pay attention, and you'll find beneath that chaos of those crashing waves, the gentle whispers of the wind. You'll notice the rhythmic pulse of the tides. In the same way, when we quiet our minds, when we seek God in the stillness, we tend to discover His presence even in the midst of our crazy, hectic lives. And now let's look at how Jesus handled this stuff. See, in Mark 6:31, He's talking with His disciples. And He says, "Come away by yourselves to a desolate place and rest a while." Even Jesus, who had the most important job in the history of mankind, understood the value of retreat. He understood the value of rest. See, after performing miracles and preaching tirelessly, He looked at His disciples and He recognized that they needed to recharge. Kind of like we recharge our phone. If we don't plug our phones in occasionally, they will die. See, Jesus invites us to step aside from our crazy, busy lives that we all have, and to recharge through rest and reflection. So here's a challenge for you. What if instead of rushing through life, we took intentional moments of pause? We schedule some quiet time. We put down our phone, which always seems to be attached to our hand, and we seek God in prayer and meditation. In those moments of stillness that I'm talking about, we not only lean on God's presence, but we also rest our hearts and our minds. We start focusing on what truly matters in our life. My friends, let's embrace a balanced life. A life that acknowledges the necessity of rest. Reflecting on the example that Jesus has already set for us. My friends, He had the most important job in history. Want to talk about busy? And He even knew to rest. See, it's not about how fast you're going, my friends. It's how well you live. So take a pause. Take a deep breath, my friends. And know that God is right there with you. He's waiting to offer peace to you and guide you in the stillness. Have a great day, my friends.